this out.
On today's show, we recap Thursday Night Football, NFL Week 3 DraftKings, and talk Monday Night Football. Stay with us.
And now, from Louisville, Kentucky, the horse capital of the world and sports junkies' finest, giving you wagering advice and sports analysis. It's On the Switch with your host, Geno G.
Welcome back to On the Switch Show. I'm your host, Travis, here with Zack Goins. Say what's up.
Hey, what's going on, bud?
Geno is on a hiatus for the time being as he just welcomed a new member to the family. So let's congratulate him on that. Congratulations, Geno.
Yeah, congratulations.
Now, on today's show, we want to go over Thursday Night Football and what's been going on in Cleveland. After that, let's talk DraftKings. I want to talk some DraftKings with Zack. NFL Week 3. We'll go over our top picks of the week per position and look into Monday night's game, Pittsburgh at Tampa, which is on ESPN at 8:15 Eastern Time. The current line is Pittsburgh -1.5. But first, let's talk Shady Rays. Shady Rays is an independently owned sunglasses company that I can't get enough of. What gets me is that they have a lifetime and replacement warranty. If you lose, break, or let's say you get them stolen, Shady Rays will replace those. They donate 11 meals for every purchase to fight hunger. That's a company I can get behind. Go to shadyrays.com, use promo code SWITCH to receive an exclusive buy one, get one free on any pair of sunglasses. Now, Zack, let's talk Cleveland, Thursday night.
Yeah, well, Thursday night you saw pretty much typical Cleveland first half. Tyrod Taylor was garbage.
It was
He
awful.
was terrible.
Atrocious.
4 of 14, 19 yards before he went out with a concussion with a minute left in the second quarter. And let me tell you, this is the moment we've been waiting for in Cleveland.
This is his third one, am I correct?
Yeah, it's third one in 2 years, so we don't really know yet how long he may be shelved for.
Sure.
It could have been precautionary why they held him out of the game. I haven't seen an update on Tyrod yet, but let me tell you, I have not heard Cleveland Stadium go off like they did the moment Baker Mayfield came into the game. Thursday night, minute left, second quarter. He drives them all the way down the field, and they got 3. And mind you, they just signed a new kicker, and damn it, he made the damn kick.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Zane Gonzalez struggled through the first 2 weeks, and yeah, he said, goodbye, sent you packing, lost your job, picked up this new kicker, comes in, he seals the deal.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
It was such a great kick. And what was it?
it was 42 yards, not a very difficult kick by any means.
But given the situation.
Yeah, given the situation, there's a lot of pressure there.
Sure.
First day on the job, first NFL field goal.
Yeah.
Knocked it down.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, knocked it down. After halftime, though, you saw Baker come in and played an efficient 17 of 23 for 201 yards. No touchdowns, no INTs. But the play I want to talk about is they get down in the red zone. It was the score that would tie the game.
Okay.
Carlos Hyde runs it in from the 5. They line up for a 2-point conversion. They're going for the tie. Baker kind of just motions off of the center and just kind of froze behind the left tackle. The center hiked the ball to Duke Johnson, which he pitched it to Jarvis Landry, all in the motion where Baker Mayfield was running a flat route to the end zone. Basic Philly special you saw in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Pulled it off, caught it.
Trickery there.
Little trickery there. 2-point conversion. Game is tied.
But that was a really exciting moment to watch.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine. Gets the ball back. Cleveland forced 2 INTs, 2 Sam Darnold INTs in very, very bad moments. They forced a turnover, which then gave Cleveland the drive that would eventually got Carlos Hyde in the end zone for a second time and sealed the win. So if I'm in Cleveland right now, I'm thinking, why the hell do we have Tyrod Taylor?
Right.
Why isn't Baker Mayfield starting? He is NFL ready right now.
Right. And, you were going and you were saying this, before, they've always started the rookies right away.
Oh yeah, Cleveland's known for being a quarterback factory.
Right. And
some absurd number. I think the number is closer to 30 now. How many starting quarterbacks that Cleveland's had since 1999? Since when they came back to Cleveland, the Browns came back to Cleveland.
I guess it wasn't working in their favor, so he decided to maybe switch it
Yeah,
up a little bit this year.
Hugh Jackson was trying to be smart by starting a veteran over Baker, giving him time to acclimate himself to the NFL before he had to take that stage.
I feel like
which is smart. It is.
You have to
smart.
respect that.
And he got his opportunity, and he came in and he played lights out.
I have to agree.
He played lights out.
I did not expect it. I think we all expected it. I shouldn't say that.
Well, when you spend a number 1 overall
to
pick,
that good,
he was a former Heisman winner, and he was drawing a lot of comparisons to Johnny Manziel, and it had a lot of people worried.
Sure.
Because, how that ended up in Cleveland. Johnny Manziel lasted 2 or 3 seasons of just sheer misery and drug and alcohol problems.
Yeah, he was a head case.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he was a head case, and he's playing the CFL now. Baker, with his attitude
Bingo.
and all of that, kind of emulated what Manziel was when he was coming into the league. So I guess they were a little nervous when they were making that selection.
Sure.
But I don't think there's any doubt from what we've seen out of the rookie quarterback starting that Baker is the most NFL ready of the 3 that we've seen between Josh Allen and Sam Darnold. Now him starting in the NFL. He's the most NFL ready.
Did you watch his post-game interview? His composure.
Yeah.
The way he carried himself.
Right.
It was impressive.
Even humbling.
Right.
Even humbling. He was grateful for the opportunity. And if you know anything about Baker Mayfield in this story, he walked on Texas Tech, then he transferred to Oklahoma, eventually became the Heisman winner and the number 1 overall pick in the NFL. So
he had a long road.
Yeah. And he kind of has that chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to beat you.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever I can to beat you. And I think that's the type of person that Cleveland needs.
Hungry.
A scrapper.
A scrapper.
If you're from Cleveland, you are a scrapper. I myself am from the Cleveland area. I know what it is to be, to scrap for everything in my life.
Sure.
So
you
get that. You get that mentality. And Baker fits the mentality in Cleveland.
Oh, Baker Mayfield, Cleveland Browns. Like I said before, that game is 8:15 Eastern Standard Time on Monday night. The current line is Pittsburgh -1.5. Now, want to talk this week's DraftKings top picks week 3. Let's talk quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks, I have 2 guys in mind. Literally, I looked at all of the quarterback selections. One of them you haven't seen this year. He's making his debut this year.
Who's that?
And that is Carson Wentz.
Oh, Carson Wentz.
Coming back off from an ACL injury. He got the go-ahead. He's going to start this week. He's playing against Indianapolis. He's 6,200 this week. And I don't know. It's a tricky matchup because right now Indianapolis is ranked 8th against the pass.
Okay.
But I think that's a little bit... I think their defense is a little see-through. I haven't been high on Indianapolis' defense all year. Or the last 10 years, rather. As I'm looking at the matchup, I got to know that Jay Ajayi is going to be out this week. Alshon Jeffrey still hasn't came back yet from his surgery in February. So people he's going to be throwing to, he's going to be throwing the ball to Nelson Aguilar. He's going to be throwing the ball a lot to Zach Ertz. That was his favorite target last year. And we're going to talk about Ertz a little bit later.
Oh, Ertz.
Yeah, I think that's a big guy to get this week just because of the lack of people to throw to in Philly right now.
Right.
So we'll talk about him here in a little bit.
Okay.
But the other guy I have right now, Matt Ryan, Atlanta Falcons versus the Saints, and he's playing at home. 5,700. That is a great value. New Orleans Saints ranks 30th against the pass right now through the first 2 weeks. And as you've looked at the Saints defense, they have been atrocious.
Very.
They squeaked by and got a win last week against the Browns. And believe me, they squeaked by.
And it was surprising, too.
And the thing is, that's the reason why the Browns kicker was fired. He left 8 points on the board.
Okay.
You can't leave that many points on the board against a high caliber team like that, especially that are not playing to their potential. Sure. Browns defense is tough. They kept them in the game. But no way, if you're New Orleans, that you should be even remotely close to a Cleveland Browns offense run by Tyrod Taylor.
No.
Okay, there's no way that you should be hanging around in games that long. So my theory when thinking, okay, Matt Ryan at home versus Saints. Saints have been pretty beat up these first 2 weeks.
Right.
I think Julio has a great day. I think Matt Ryan is bound for 2-3 touchdowns that day.
Yeah, that connection with Julio and Ryan.
I think he could have a field day out there.
Absolutely.
Only thing, no Devonta Freeman for the Falcons this week, so Tevin Coleman will go ahead and get the nod again for week 3.
All right.
We'll talk about Coleman here a little while. Actually, I don't really like his matchup against the Saints run per se. I like, the matchup against the pass a lot better. But that's pretty much, I'm probably going with Matt Ryan, this week above anyone else.
So we're going Wentz and Ryan, with Ryan being the
better value.
The better value.
And I think he has potential of scoring more. He could be a top 5 QB this week, and he's probably the best value to get for the position.
All right. So let's talk about running backs.
Running backs, I like more the expensive guys this week. We were talking earlier.
Well, there's nothing wrong with the sure case.
Right. Ezekiel Elliott's playing Seattle this week. He is 7,700, mind you. So, yeah, you're spending some change for him. But it's Seattle. Seattle doesn't have anyone.
Nobody.
They have Russell Wilson on offense. Doug Baldwin's still hurt.
So you're not really
nobody in that defense that I have any worries about. Zeke's gonna go out. You could stack 9 in the box, and I still see Zeke running for 100 yards against Seattle.
Oh yeah.
He's been averaging 18.7 fantasy points for the first 2 weeks. Another guy to look out for, just because of matchup. Now, if he gets the start this week, if he comes back from a hamstring injury, Leonard Fournette playing against Tennessee could be a very attractive matchup. And I'll tell you why. Tennessee.
Let me guess. Is it Mariota?
Well, yes, it has a lot to do with Mariota, but it's a lack of Mariota in Tennessee this week, because it was looking like Blaine Gabbert is going to make NFL start this week. Mariota tried to play a little bit last week. Gabbert had to come in and, take over.
He had to do what he had to do,
But Blaine Gabbert is
hot garbage.
He's god awful.
I cannot
It's his
disagree
fourth
with you.
team since being in the league. I'm pretty sure it's his fourth team. He was Jags, Houston. No, not Houston. San Fran and Arizona. Now with Tennessee. I don't think he was part of that Houston mess with Keenum and TJ Yates.
No.
Osweiler. No, I don't think he was part of that. He might as well have been. But if Leonard Fournette gets the start this week, I would definitely want to take that matchup, just because if Blaine Gabbert's running the offense, that offense is not going to be on the field a lot for Tennessee. Especially going up against Jacksonville's defense. That's turnover city for Blaine Gabbert. And we'll talk about Jaguars' expensive defense later.
Okay. Expensive but worthy.
Yeah, expensive but worth it. Definitely.
So we're talking about Fournette.
Yes, we talked about Fournette. We talked about Zeke.
Old Zeke.
I do want to say, if Fournette does not get the go-ahead, grab TJ Yeldon as the backup running back. He's at 5,100, a great value. I say that because I have a feeling Jacksonville is going to be playing with the lead a lot of the game, so they're going to have to run the ball. And that reminds me of another guy this week who is going to be in a similar scenario with Latavius Murray. And I say Latavius Murray because Dalvin Cook is going to be out this week.
Right.
Latavius Murray playing Buffalo, and we all know about Buffalo now.
Only good for chicken wings.
Right. They're only good for their chicken wings, and believe me, they're pretty damn good. But Latavius Murray against Buffalo, 5,800. Buffalo's ranked 26th against the run. It's another one of those situations where Minnesota is going to blow Buffalo out, and Murray's going to be running the ball a lot in garbage time. I think he could see a red zone score if it's not a big play through the air.
Right.
But once they get the lead, is when Murray is going to become more effective because they're going to be running the ball 65-70% of the time if they've got a 21-point lead, if they've got a 17-point lead.
Keep that clock rolling.
Right.
Let's get out of here.
Right. So I see him being very utilized this week.
All right. Well, let's go to wide receivers. Who we got?
I actually don't like a lot of the more expensive receivers this week unless I'm going with Julio.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with Julio. He's just
Julio's going to draw Marshawn Lattimore, but the thing is, I think this is going to be a kind of a grudge match game because last year Marshawn Lattimore got the better of Julio, but Julio was having kind of an off year for Julio Jones standards. So I think with the composure of the Saints defense this week, you could see Julio definitely getting the better of Marshawn Lattimore out there just on morale alone.
Okay.
He's sitting at 7,900 this week. That's the only expensive receiver that I like this week.
Is that a home game for Atlanta?
Yes, that is the home game for Atlanta.
Okay, little crowd action behind him.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I can see it.
He could put on a show.
I can see it.
Well, that's what I'm thinking he's gonna do. Some good value guys. Like I said, I don't really like the expensive guys this week, but there's some good value guys. Allen Robinson versus the Cardinals, 5,400. Very good value. He's gonna draw Patrick Peterson, but that Anthony Miller out in Chicago, we talked about him the first episode when we were talking about our just straight fantasy football.
Sure.
I liked him in the back end, and last week he actually did see the end zone and was more involved with the offense. It's just getting Mitch Trubisky to throw touchdown passes. That is the main thing. He's an accurate quarterback.
He is.
He just doesn't have a knack for the end zone yet.
I feel like he always takes the dump down pass.
He does. Pass. He's a dink and dunker. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's frustrating to watch as a fan. I would have to.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine. But the thing is about Trubisky, you know, he's a second-year quarterback. Look at Alex Smith. Alex Smith was known for being the short intermediate guy in Kansas City.
Right.
And then last year it was like, oh, we're gonna eventually move on from you with Mahomes because he's got the big arm. And then you saw Alex Smith wing balls down the field for Tyreek Hill. Okay, but Alex Smith is the most accurate short intermediate guy. He doesn't turn the ball over much. So if Trubisky can get that kind of
gameplay
going where he's just protecting the ball, you know, using his running backs to march down the field, short intermediate passes, moving the chains,
right?
Then we can set things up in the red zone. But until then, I don't know. I say Allen Robinson versus the Cardinals, but I'm really dependent on him getting the end zone.
And that really just depends on
it's going to depend on game flow. It depends on who he's looking towards in the red zone. I have a tight end that I'm going to talk about from Chicago that I could see seeing the end zone. He scored one last week, so I think that's turning into more of the red zone target in Chicago.
Okay.
But next guy I have on my list, Sammy Watkins, Kansas City versus the 49ers, 5,100. That's a great value. Last week he saw 19 points, caught a touchdown pass against Pittsburgh, one of 6 Patrick Mahomes touchdown passes.
What?
Yeah, and we'll talk about
6?
Pittsburgh here in a little bit because I've got a lot to say.
I'm sure you do.
But Watkins is starting to get more chemistry with the offense. Last year he was with the Rams. Year before that he was with Buffalo. So now I think he's finally settling in to a solid number 2 receiver role. I didn't think before when he was at Buffalo he was more of a number 1 guy. I think now that he's in this role with Tyreek Hill, he doesn't have all the pressure. The game's going to be a lot easier for him. Anyhow, he's playing the Niners this week. Niners have not been that great against the pass starting out. I could see him finding the end zone and maybe even seeking out a big play against San Francisco. Last person I have on my list, Randall Cobb, Green Bay Packers versus the Redskins this week. He's 5,200. Devontae Adams is going to draw Josh Norman most of the night.
Okay.
Star corner from Washington, and he's a shutdown guy. So I start thinking, okay, Aaron Rodgers, Washington didn't look too good last week against Indianapolis.
No.
Playing against Indianapolis defense,
dismal.
Which is what helped boost them in the rankings for the Indianapolis defense, you know, through the pass because Alex Smith just could not get it going last week. Randall Cobb, I think, is an attractive pick because you have Aaron Rodgers. The show's in town with Aaron Rodgers. So
it's just like Randall Cobb. I mean,
Randall Cobb, and he's been kind of surprising this year.
Has he been shifty?
Well, no. Honestly, I've seen some flat old Randall Cobb flashes before the injuries where he's been breaking out big plays. I think he had a 75-yard touchdown just last week, or it might have been week 1. I can't remember. So he's getting involved a lot with that.
I like to see
offense.
that.
I liked Geronimo Allison earlier in the year. Now I'm shifting more towards Randall Cobb as the year is going on.
All right, so that's our wide receivers. So let's go to the tight ends.
Tight ends. I got 3 guys. 3 guys. One, the most expensive pick, the most expensive tight end this week. That is Zach Ertz. He is probably your best pick. He could be the tight end that you start at the flex and take another one of these tight ends just because of how many targets he's going to see from Carson Wentz against Indianapolis.
I can't wait to see that.
It could be a 10 for 110 line, a touchdown or 2 with Zach Ertz this week. Such an attractive pick against a defense who is up and down, I'm going to say now.
Well, yeah,
they're up and they're down. The first week, Indianapolis, they got in a shootout with Cincinnati. Week 2, Washington just couldn't do it. So let's see with Green Bay Packers offense how this defense reacts. Yeah, right, exactly. Aaron Rodgers coming to town. You got some pressure there. So that's why I liked Cobb.
Definitely.
So back to Ertz. Ertz is going to draw up, like I said, could be 12, 14 targets. I'm thinking 10, 110, 2 touchdowns, maybe 1 touchdown. Next guy I have on my list, George Kittle, San Francisco versus Kansas City. He's at 4,500 right now. He's been heavily involved with Jimmy Garoppolo first 2 weeks of the season. A guy I could see finding the end zone. Guy number 3, Trey Burton versus the Cardinals. He's at 3,900. Okay. Last week you saw Trey Burton score. First week, he was kind of a dud. Arizona's defense is pretty soft through the middle, so I could see Trey Burton getting that look in the red zone. I know I said Allen Robinson earlier, but Trey Burton is the more attractive pick if I'm going to take a pass catcher from the Chicago Bears. I just had to mention Allen Robinson's value because he's sitting there at 5,400, and it's a coin flip. It really is, and that's a lot of these picks.
That's a hell of a suggestion.
You know, a lot of these picks in DraftKings, you know, it's a coin flip. You're going off hunches, you're reading stats, trying to find the trend and where somebody's cooling off.
Absolutely. So next, defense.
Yeah, defense is easy this week.
Who we got?
Both the most expensive defenses that you can get. Actually, it's the top 3 defenses. Okay, and that is Jacksonville Jaguars versus.
Oh, yeah.
The Blaine Gabbert show.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, I can't do that. I can't just not want to start the Jacksonville Jaguars. Or I got the Vikings playing Buffalo, who is equally as bad.
I'm going to go with the Vikings and the Buffalo.
Yeah.
Myself.
They're the more expensive pick right now. They are 4,300 while Jacksonville is 4,000 even. Next down, though, which is a pick that I'm staying in the Windy City again. Chicago defense.
Oh, Chicago.
Versus Arizona. Arizona's offense has been kind of putrid. Fantasy owners are scratching their heads at David Johnson right now. Guys who took him in the top 5. I warned people. That quarterback situation, that offensive line situation, I just don't see it for Arizona this year. I think they're going to hurt. With the addition of Khalil Mack to the Chicago defense, though.
Have you seen how long this man's arms are?
Oh, geez. I'll tell you, he's one of the best pass rushers that I've seen in a decade.
Unbelievable.
He reminds me of a guy that used to play for Pittsburgh, and his name is James Harrison.
James Harrison. Good old James Harrison.
He just destroys backfields. It's amazing type of work Khalil Mack's done, and he's just been waiting for that big contract extension. That immediately made the Chicago defense one of the tougher defenses.
Yeah, those long arms that he has, it makes it easy. I swear they go down.
I'm gonna have to look at a picture and see how long his arms are now.
They go to his knees.
Now, they might very well go to his knees.
Now we're going to talk Monday Night Football. Pittsburgh versus Tampa on ESPN, 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. What do you think, Zach?
Well, I think we have a shootout in the making.
Shootout. Is who's quarterback for Tampa this week?
Well, it is still Ryan Fitzpatrick. Jameis still has his suspension until week 4. Coach for Tampa Bay Buccaneers is not committal on saying that Jameis is going to get his job back. He's non-committal at this point. I think Jameis Winston may have lost his job. They're not saying it yet, but come week 5, Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to be the starting quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As of right now, he's leading in passing yards, 850
Isn't that crazy?
Some. Yes. I mean, well, honestly, it's not crazy to me because you saw how good Fitzpatrick was with the Jets when they had Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker.
Okay.
You know, they had a pretty good duo of receivers there, and he had some success. I don't know if it was a New York thing, how he fizzled out. I don't know. It's the Jets.
It'll make or break you. You know what I'm saying?
But as I'm saying, Pittsburgh going into Tampa, Pittsburgh's got to be worried. I hate to say it, but that defense can't stop a nosebleed right now. Patrick Mahomes last week put up 6 touchdowns. Steelers offense put up 37 points and still lost. Gotta be close to hitting the panic button in Pittsburgh.
What did they change? This season?
Pittsburgh has a new defensive coordinator, Keith Butler. They also have a new offensive coordinator in Randy Fitchner. The offensive coordinator last year, Todd Haley, left and went to Cleveland. He is now the offensive coordinator in Cleveland.
And look at Cleveland.
Well,
they're doing pretty good.
Let pump the brakes. they just got their piece to play better.
Right.
Let's see what Baker had a great showing. We'll see how he does in the next few weeks.
So basically, you're saying Pittsburgh has got all these new variables.
Yeah, Pittsburgh has some variables. There's some locker room trouble. AB is not getting along with people. He did not show up to practice Monday. He was disciplined by Tomlin this week for not showing up to practice. He has been shown frustrated, fighting with coaches, fighting with players on the sideline last week.
Man.
And, when listening to Big Ben talk about it, he said that, we're just frustrated. We're winless right now. We tied with the Browns week 1. We just got 42 points put up on us in our house. What do you mean he's frustrated, of course.
I can feel it. I can understand
he's arguably the best receiver in football right now. And I'll say arguably because I am a Pittsburgh biased fan.
Oh, yeah.
And I was,
But, that's okay. I'm a Bengals fan, so... And there's some shame involved in that.
Who they?
I will say it. Who they?
But who's the Bengals?
They're nobody, really.
Actually, the Bengals are actually look pretty tough this year. They had 2 pretty solid weeks. This week they play... Actually, who does Cincinnati play this week? I'm not even sure right off the top of my head. I looked at it earlier, and now I'm drawing a blank. It is gone. Oh, yeah.
Panthers.
Carolina. Duh. Yeah, sorry. They have an attractive matchup this week. Carolina hasn't played too well to start the year. That offensive line's banged up. So
I'm anxious to see how Cam Newton should be a pretty good showing for Cam.
Could. Cincinnati's defense is pretty tough.
They're solid, rock solid.
Yeah, well, I want to see what happens with Drake Kirkpatrick comes back in. I didn't see an injury report on him, but I remember him leaving the game last week. But anyways, I'm going to get back. Let's get back to Pittsburgh, Tampa. We're getting a little off track.
It's easy to do.
Yeah, it is. And it's really easy when it's just football, man. But this is a game where I can see Big Ben and Ryan Fitzpatrick both throwing 2+ touchdowns apiece. This is a game where I could see it being 35-28 either in Pittsburgh or Tampa's favor. It's going to be who can outduel who when it comes to this game. I think Pittsburgh's offense is more potent, but we're not playing like it. Tampa's on this really hot streak. Fitzpatrick is playing out of his mind. We saw that first week against the Saints when put up 48 points. That he's here for business this year.
Yeah.
He wants that job. So
it was good to see.
Pittsburgh better be ready to play coming into Tampa Monday night, or else it could very well be 0-2-1.
Right.
Start the first 3 weeks of the season, and I would break that panic button. How many times I would press it?
Well, let's hope for your sake that they go into Tampa and they do some serious damage.
Yeah, I hope so.
Points.
I hope so. And what's the line on that again?
It's Pittsburgh -1.5 as of right now.
Okay. So they have. It's a game I think could go either way. We'll see if Pittsburgh's defense can stop Mike Evans, if they can stop Ryan Fitzpatrick from throwing the ball everywhere on the field. O.J. Howard has, if you're playing the Monday Night Showdown DraftKings, I would lean towards starting O.J. Howard. I would lean towards starting Big Ben as your quarterback. I would lean towards Mike Evans. Juju Smith-Schuster, I'm gonna fade Antonio Brown just because I know Juju's been more involved with the offense at least last week.
Mm-hmm.
First week he saw 5 for 119, so I don't know. It could flip-flop again this week, and Antonio Brown could have a better week, but there's problems there. He's frustrated. Who knows how that's going to pan out. I hope he shows up ready to play because he needs to start acting like the number one receiver in football. And I know fantasy owners are begging for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I have him in the league, and last week I said 18 points, Antonio Brown. Am I dreaming?
Right.
I'm looking at my phone, and I'm like, holding it far away and bringing it close. I don't know what's going on. But James Conner, I hopefully he can get back to where he was week 1. Week 2, he was.
He fell off, but
he did. He did 9 carries, 17 yards, but he did find the end zone. And the thing about James Conner is they use him in the passing game. In the past, we say, well, he's looking at like a Bell-like workload. Well, that also means he's getting involved in the passing game. I think last week he had 5 for 50-some yards.
Right.
So that helped his score, his overall fantasy score, with the 19 rushing yards and the touchdown. I think he had around 17. Tampa's run defense is shifty at times. Levante David's pretty tough middle linebacker there. So he could run into a few problems, but it's really going to be who outduels who here.
Right. All right. Okay. So listen, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on our Twitter at OnTheSwitch1. Like us on Facebook. Be sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. And as always, from On The Switch Studios, we love you.